Open your phone, scroll through the news, your feed, your group chats. Someone is praying for a job interview. Someone is cursing the universe for bad luck. Someone is thanking the stars for a parking spot. But here is the strange part. Your brain is doing something that every human brain has done for at least 40,000 years, and no one told it to. Every ancient civilization everywhere on Earth invented gods. Not one, not two, every single one. The Egyptians built pyramids to reach them. The Greeks carved marble statues of them. The Aztecs built temples where blood ran down the steps. The Vikings sailed into storms shouting their names. The Chinese burned incense and wrote their wills on bamboo, asking ancestors to watch from beyond. The Aboriginal Australians sang songs that traced the footsteps of beings who shaped the mountains and rivers themselves. These people never met. They shared no language, no trade routes, no scrolls, no internet. They were separated by oceans, deserts, and thousands of years, and yet they all did the same thing. They looked up at the sky, felt small, and decided something bigger was up there. So what was happening inside their heads? And more importantly, what is still happening inside yours? Roughly 70,000 years ago, something changed in the human brain. Archaeologists call it the cognitive revolution. Before this, humans were just another animal. Smart, social, good with tools, but still just another animal. Then something flipped, and the first thing we did with this new brain was not build better spears. We started burying our dead with flowers, red ochre, and tools they might need in another world. We started painting half-human, half-animal figures on cave walls. We started believing that the thunder was not just noise, it was a voice. This is what scientists call hyperactive agency detection. Your brain is built to see intention everywhere. A rustle in the grass is not wind, it is a lion watching you. A crack of thunder is not air pressure, it is something angry. A streak of lightning is not static electricity, it is a message. This was not a mistake, it was survival. The ancestor who assumed the rustle was a lion lived. The one who assumed it was wind sometimes got eaten. Evolution does not care about truth. Evolution cares about staying alive. But there is a second layer, and it is even stranger. Your brain is the most social organ in the animal kingdom. A human alone in the wild is a dead human. So your brain evolved to track relationships, alliances, debts, favors, and enemies with obsessive precision. You can remember who owes you a coffee from 3 months ago. You can sense when someone is angry before they speak. You can feel guilty for something you only imagine doing. No other animal does this. Now imagine applying that same social machinery to the entire universe. The rain does not fall, it is given. The sun does not rise, it is sent. The earthquake does not happen, it is punishment. Every force of nature becomes a person with a personality, a mood, and a memory of what you did last Tuesday. This is not a choice. This is your brain doing what it was built to do, treating everything as if it has a mind. And here is where it gets uncomfortable. The gods were not just explanations, they were management systems. A god who watches you cheat on your spouse is cheaper than a police force. A god who demands you share your harvest is more effective than a tax collector. A god who sees you when you are alone is a surveillance system that never sleeps. And the best part? You cannot argue with it. You cannot kill it. You cannot even see it. It is the perfect authority. The anthropologist Ara Norenzayan studied hundreds of societies and found something disturbing. The more a culture believed in a powerful, all-knowing God who punished wrongdoing, the larger and more complex that society became. Small tribes with many small gods stayed small. Empires with one big angry god built roads, armies, and laws. Fear of invisible punishment made strangers cooperate. It made them honest in markets. It made them obey kings. The god was not a side effect of civilization. In many cases, the god was the operating system that made civilization possible. But why did every civilization do this independently? Because the problem was the same everywhere, and the human brain was the same everywhere. Every ancient society faced the same three terrors: the sky, which could destroy them with no warning; the earth, which could withhold food for no reason; and death, which came for everyone with no explanation. Every brain had the same tool for solving these terrors: pattern recognition, social reasoning, and the desperate need to believe that someone, somewhere, was in charge. Look at the evidence. In the oldest known temple, Göbekli Tepe in Turkey, built 11,600 years ago before farming existed, humans carved massive stone pillars of foxes, lions, and birds. No houses, no grain storage, just a temple. Religion came before agriculture, before cities, before writing. We gathered to worship before we gathered to eat. The god was not invented to explain farming. Farming was invented because we were already gathering for the god. In Peru, the Nazca lines stretch across the desert in shapes only visible from the sky. No one lived up there. The shapes were not for human eyes. They were for beings who could fly. In Mexico, the Maya built pyramids aligned to the stars with mathematical precision that still baffles engineers. The stars were not distant. They were watching. In Egypt, pharaohs were buried with boats, food, and servants because the afterlife was not a metaphor. It was a destination. And then something happened. About 2,500 years ago, in Greece, India, China, and the Middle East, all at roughly the same time, a new question appeared. What if the gods are not real? What if we invented them? What if the thunder is just thunder? The philosophers called this the Axial Age. It was the first time humans looked at their own beliefs and asked if they were true. But here is the twist. The question did not kill the gods. It just made them more abstract. The gods became a single god. The many spirits became a universal force. The angry sky became a moral law. The belief adapted. It did not disappear. Because your brain still needs what the gods provided. It needs to believe that death is not the end. That justice exists somewhere. That the pattern you see in tragedy is real and not random. When a child dies, no one says random proteins malfunctioned. They say there is a reason. When a plane crashes, no one says physics. They say why. Your brain demands intention. It demands a story. It demands that the ending means something. And here is the final strangeness. The most secular societies in history, the ones that claim to have moved past gods, have simply replaced them with new invisible forces. The market, history, the universe, the algorithm, nature, progress. They have the same properties. They are all-knowing in their domain. They reward the faithful and punish the doubters. They have plans that mere humans cannot understand. They have priests who interpret their will, economists, scientists, technologists, influencers. The architecture is identical. Only the names have changed. Open your phone again. The person praying for the job interview is not stupid. They are running a 70,000-year-old program that says intention is everywhere, authority is invisible, and meaning is mandatory. The person thanking the stars for the parking spot is not crazy. They are doing what every human brain has done since we first looked up and felt small. They are talking to the sky, and the sky, for 70,000 years, has always answered back, not with words, with the silence that lets us fill in whatever we need to hear. You did not choose to believe in pattern, in purpose, in something bigger. Your brain chose it for you before you took your first breath in a world where the rustle in the grass was always a lion and the lion was always watching. The gods are not dead. They are just wearing different costumes and you are still worshiping. You just call it by another name. But here is the real question. If your brain has been running this program for 70,000 years, what other programs are running inside you right now that you never chose? What if I told you that the way you fall in love, the way you fear strangers, the way you trust your gut, all of it was written in your brain before you were born? This channel is about pulling back the curtain on the software running inside your head. Every video is a new question you never thought to ask, and an answer that will change how you see everything. If you made it this far, your brain is already hungry for the next one. So here is what happens next. Hit subscribe, not because I asked, because your brain is already wired to want more. Turn on notifications. The next video drops in 48 hours, and it is about the one thing every human does that no animal can explain. And if you think this video changed how you see your own thoughts, share it with someone who still thinks they are in control. Because the most terrifying thing you can learn is not that gods are real. It is that you were never the one driving. See you in the next one. The program continues.